Welcome to my collection. I am a black belt in jiu-jitsu and a black belt at spending money on books. And I read them sometimes too. So in November, I read some graphic novels and some prose novels. So the first thing I read was actually the Uncanny X-Men Volume 1 Omnibus. I've read a lot of this in the past, but some of this was the first time for me. So I love how they put all the comics on the back. That is so cool. I love that. So it's from the 70s, so it's pretty wordy, but it wasn't slow or boring. It just took a while to get through, but I enjoyed every issue. This was really good. It was really cool to see where all this started. And I think Volume 2 is getting reprinted next year, so I'll be looking for that for sure. From Chris Claremont. V for Vendetta. This was my first time reading this. I love The Watchmen and Swamp Thing from Alan Moore. So I've got this, From Hell, and a couple of his other things. So finally read this. Of course, I've seen the movie, and I really enjoyed this. It's beautifully written, really cool ideas, and yeah, it was pretty much just like the movie, as far as I remember. Of course, it's been a while since I've seen that movie, but I really enjoyed that. And then, of course, I moved on with my Stephen King read-through. I'm reading all of his books in publication order, and I'm into the 90s. So last month I did Gerald's Game. Now I did Dolores Clayborn. This was about as good as Gerald's Game, I thought. It was like 3 stars. It didn't blow me away by any means. Maybe 4 stars. But I enjoyed it. It was really fast. Even though this is very interesting, there's no chapters in this book. It's just all one long chapter, basically. But it did go pretty fast, and I was intrigued by the main character. She's just telling a story the whole time. But the next one, though, this one was... I'm going to move these out of the way for the next Stephen King book I read, Insomnia. Holy crap, this thing is huge. Let me grab Dolores Clayborn again. I mean, look at that. This took a while to get through. I would say the first third, or even maybe the first half, I was really into this. It was really good. But then the second half really dragged. I just sort of lost interest, and I just wanted the book to be over. It's just too long, man. It's just too much. I'm glad I read it, but I don't know that I'll reread it again, not anytime soon. It ties into the Dark Tower a little bit, and that is my jam for sure. I love the Dark Tower books. So I'm happy to have read this, but it was a slog. What was not a slog was this very thin Gotham City Year 1 by Tom King. This was great. This was 5 stars. One of the best things I read all month. I love these noir detective stories, and I really am a huge fan of Tom King's writing. I know a lot of people aren't, but I've liked pretty much everything I've read from him. So this was a really cool take on Bruce Wayne's grandparents, who Sam Bradley, they call him Slam Bradley, is basically just a detective working a case for them, and it's got a lot of twists and turns, and yeah, it was really good. A really good take on the time, and it changes the way you think about Gotham City and the Wayne family. And then I moved on to TMNT. This is the IDW run, and I've had books 1 and 2 for a while, and everyone said they're awesome, and they were right. These were awesome. Volume 1 was so good that I just immediately picked up Volume 2 and read both of these. And yeah, it was great. Whenever I finished Volume 1, I was so into it. I picked up Volume 2 just to kind of look and see. In the first issue, I was like, dang it, this is so good as well. I gotta read this now. So I just went ahead and read both of them. And yeah, I'll be looking for Volume 3 if I can find a sale. So that's pretty much it. I didn't read as much volume this month, but it's because the last book I read was Swan Song by Robert McCammon, and it was massive. It's almost 1,000 pages, this book. So I don't know if it's technically more words than Insomnia, but it didn't feel like it. This was incredible. From start to finish, I could not put it down. Never bored, not one time. Completely enraptured the whole way through. Not only one of the best books, definitely the best thing I read in November, one of the best books I've ever read. This was really good. There's some amazing scenes, the Job's mask, and things that you'll know if you've read the book. If not, it's just a post-apocalyptic story, kind of like The Stand by Stephen King. It's better than The Stand, I think. It just spoke to me more. I couldn't put it down, man. I blazed through it. I read a bunch of stuff digitally and some audiobooks as well, but I can't show that here, of course. I did the audiobook of Christopher Buehlman's Between Two Fires. That was also 5 stars. That was great. But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys read this month, and if you've read any of this and what you think about it. See ya.